Yeah, we'll now get into the computation of variances. In the first part, we will see the material cost variance calculation, guys. First, we will understand the formulas. Then we will go and solve the problems on the same. Silence, silence. There. Material variance. Material variance can be classified as follows. Material cost variance can be subdivided into usage and price. Guys, even in our example, let me take the same and explain you. Just a minute. Our material cost variance was how much, guys? 1 lakh. 1 lakh. So what do we do? Sir, first we'll calculate this. Yes. And this is due to what reason? Did we use more raw materials or did we pay more? Did we use more or did we pay more? Or it can be both also. It can be both also. So we now need to find out what? Material usage variance and material price variance. Price variance is due to what? The difference in price. Which two price? Standard price and actual price. And here material usage variance. What do you use? Price, huh? What do you use? Raw material. Quantity. Now if there is any difference in that quantity, you will get it. That is nothing but standard quantity minus actual quantity. Okay. Now, material usage variance also can be subdivided into two categories. That is material mix variance and yield variance. And this will come, guys, only when there is more than one kind of raw material used in the production process. For example, sir, I am using two types of raw material A and B in my production process. Can we calculate mix variance and yield variance? Yes, you can calculate. Sir, what if I am calculating, I am using only one kind of raw material in my production process? Maybe you will stop at this point. You will stop at that point only. Yes, guys. Now, even you can observe in my example, we have identified, sir, price I was supposed to pay, standard price was 10, but how much I ended up paying? 11 rupees. 1 rupees extra. Will it lead to a variance? Yes. Same way. How much kgs of raw material I was supposed to use? 50,000 kgs. But how much I used? 54,545. 4,545 more. More. That means obviously more raw material means more I would have incurred a cost. Yes, so it is again extra cost to me. Yes. Sure. So we'll figure out is it due to usage or price or both. For that we have a formula, guys. For each of this variance calculation, we have a formula. What is it? We will see one by one. Material cost variance. This is overall. Overall material cost variance, where we have got in our example 1 lakh. Material cost variance is the difference between the standard cost of material specified and the actual cost of material used. How much you are supposed to use? How much you have used? How much you are supposed to use minus how much you have actually used. The formula is standard cost of materials for actual output. Means for actual output, how much supposed to be your material cost minus what is your actual cost. And actual cost will always be for actual output. So please always bring it to common base and compare. Alright, sir, how do we calculate standard cost of materials for actual output, sir? Standard quantity into standard price. And sir, what is the standard quantity? It should always be for actual output. It should always be for actual output. In one of the example I told you, they are given standard quantity for 1 unit. So what should we do? Convert it for actual output. Then take it. Clear up? Yes, sir. Then coming to the other side, sir, how do I get actual cost of materials? Actual quantity into actual price. Actual quantity into actual price. Hope you understood. So as per my example, how much do we get here? 1 lakh. Now 1 lakh, if I break down and see how much is due to usage, how much is due to price, then we will get assume 60-40 or 50-50, something like that. Clear? So how much is due to usage, how much is due to price? Let us give a breakup of 1 lakh. Material cost variance arises due to variation in the price of material or its usage. What will be the reason for this material cost variance, guys? Either the price or usage. In accordance with this, material cost variances may be analyzed under two heads: material price variance and material usage variance. Material price variance is that portion of direct material cost variance which is the difference between the standard price specified and the actual price paid for the direct material used. Means how much you are supposed to pay minus how much you actually paid. Okay. Material price variance is equal to standard price minus actual price into what? Actual quantity. And actual quantity, guys, will you pay for what you have purchased or what you have consumed? What you have purchased. Purchase. Obviously, later you will consume it, but when you are paying, you will pay for what? What you have purchased. Clear? Yes. So if you ask me, sir, this actual quantity should be purchased or consumed? Purchased. But sometimes they will not give it separately, purchase separately, consume separately. In that case, assume both are equal. No opening stock, no closing stock. Assume what is purchased is equal to consumed. Clear? Yes. And so what if both is given? What should we use? I will give that clarity. Okay. Actually, conceptually, logically, you have to use raw material purchased. Actual quantity purchased. But from academic point of view, you have to use consumed. You have to use consumed. Why also I will tell you. I have given a note for it. Here, actual quantity means what? Actual quantity purchased. If in the question material purchase is not given, then assume that whatever is consumed is equal to purchase. Okay, sir. But one clarification. One clarification. At the end, we will actually reconcile the variances. For example, if this is 1 lakh, this will be 60 plus 40 equal to 1 lakh. Yes, sir. Then this also. For example, this is assume 40 and this is 20. Both if I add up, am I getting 60? Yes, it has to reconcile. It has to reconcile. So at the end, if you want to reconcile without any difference, then for usage, then sorry, for price, you better take material consumed. Material consumed. From exam point of view, go with because even ICA suggested answers are following the same. I have given a clarification on that. See, if in the question both actual material purchased as well as consumed are given, then consider material consumed for the calculation in order to what? Reconcile. In order to reconcile. Logically, conceptually, what should we take, Rohit? What should we take for this formula? Actual quantity purchased because we pay for what we purchase. Clear? But from academic point of view, in order to reconcile the variances at the end, better take consumed. That is only if they have given both in the question. Sir, they have given purchased also, they have given consumed also. Which one should I use in my calculations, sir? Consumed. Go with consumed, guys. Oh. Next is who is responsible for it? Guys, come on. Who is responsible for purchase of raw material? Who is responsible for purchase of raw material? Purchase department. If they are paid more, or if there is material price variance, that means you have paid more. Who is responsible for this? Purchase department. Who is held responsible for, especially if there is adverse material price variance? Purchase department. Can be your MCQ questions. Generally, purchase department purchases the materials from the market. Purchase department is expected to perform its function very prudently so that the company never suffers loss due to inefficiency. Purchase department is held responsible for adverse price variance arises due to factors controllable by the department. Clear? Because they are the one who will pick the suppliers and decide the price. You better pick a better supplier who can supply the same material at a better price. Clear? We have discussed in material chapter purchase procedure. Correct? Now, whenever stores department production department wants the raw material, they will request the stores department. If they have it, they will supply. If not, stores department will request whom? Purchase department. By issuing what document? Purchase requisition. Now, purchase department will call for a tender, ask everyone, whoever is ready to supply raw materials, come and give your quotations on that. Now, assume 50 people, 100 people have given their quotation. Now, it's my responsibility as a purchasing department to choose one best person. Whoever is ready to supply me the raw material what I require, maybe at the best price. Clear? Yes. This kind of questions can be asked as MCQ. Which department can be held as responsible for material price variance or adverse material price variance, guys? Okay. Next, coming to usage. Usage, we have to take what, guys? The quantity. Material usage variance is the difference between the standard quantity specified, means how much you are supposed to use for the production achieved, and the actual quantity used, both valued at what? Standard prices. It measures the variance in material cost due to usage or consumption of materials. So, how do we calculate it? Material usage variance is equal to standard quantity for actual output. Sir, will it be given in the question? May or may not be. Even if it is not given, you have to derive that first. Okay. Minus actual quantity used means consumed. Here you have to use consumed only. Okay. What you have used for production into standard price. Into standard price. Here actual quantity means what? Actual quantity of material used or consumed. Clear? See, that is what I gave a clarification. Sorry, as we are using here consumed. If I want to tally or reconcile the variances, then even in this formula, what should I use? Consumed. Clear? Yes. Now, who is held responsible, guys? Who will use the raw material? Hello? Who will use the raw material? Production department. So, if you end up using more, who should be held responsible? Production department. Maybe the loss is more in the production department. Clear? And if it is normal, obviously unavoidable. If it is abnormal, obviously we need to take the necessary measures. And guys, if it is normal, while setting the standard itself, they would have considered it. While setting the standard itself, they would have considered it because even they know that it will happen, na? And it is unavoidable. Yes. Responsibility for material usage variance. Material usage is the responsibility of production department and it is held responsible for adverse usage variance. Material usage variance can be subdivided into two categories. That is material usage mix variance or simply mix variance or material yield variance. And please be careful, this we do only when we are using more than one category of raw material in the production process. Sir, if I am using only one kind of raw material, will we calculate mix variance and all? No, that is not possible. Oh, guys, before going forward, let us just recall the formula again. First, material price variance. Guys, price variance, the name itself is telling. We are finding out the difference in what? We are finding out the difference in what? Price. So that means in the bracket, price minus price. Obviously, we are finding out the difference in price. So it should be price minus price. Which price first? Standard price. Because which is available first? Standard. At the beginning. Whereas actually is available only at the end, guys. So which comes first? Put it first. So standard price minus actual price. So you will pay this for only one unit. Huh? No, number of units I have purchased. So multiply it with what? Actual quantity purchased. But for calculation purpose, for academic purpose, in order to reconcile, what will you take? Consume. If question specify both, you will be having confusion what to take. If only one quantity, actual quantity is given, assume it is only consumed, it is only purchased. Ashta, you don't have any other choice. When it is given separately, so purchase also is given, consumed also is given. What should I take? Consumed. Clear? Yes, sir. But what we pay is for purchase, guys. Please be careful. Okay, sir. Then coming to usage. What do we use, guys? Price of quantity now. Quantity. So when I am finding out the usage variance, the difference we are finding out between what? Quantities. Which two quantities? Standard and actual. Which one should come first? Standard. So standard quantity for actual output minus actual quantity into standard price. Why, sir? Because what I was supposed to pay, I should take it. What I was supposed to pay, I have to take it. And what I have actually paid already, we have taken here. Into actual quantity also we have taken. Whereas here, our main agenda is to find out what the difference between the quantity. And that should be multiplied with what? Standard price. That is how much I was supposed to pay. How much I was supposed to pay, guys. Oh. Now, mix variance. When will we use mix variance? First, I will explain you the concept. Listen here. Let me explain you. Now, assume guys, in production, we are using three different kinds of raw material. What are those, sir? A, B, and C. And for each unit of output, standard was, I was supposed to use 5 kg of A, 10 kg of B, and 15 kg of C, guys. For each unit of output. Assume for each unit of output. Price is how much, sir? Let me take it as 50 rupees and this as 30 rupees and this as 10 rupees. Okay, sir. C being the cheapest, so that is why we are using it more. Okay. But actually, this was called standard mix. This is what called standard mix. I was supposed to use for producing each unit of output 5 kg of A, 10 kg of B, and 15 kg of C. But actually, I have not done that. What I have done, assume actual quantity. For each unit of output only we are discussing. For each unit of output, I have used 7 kg of A, then 12 kg of B and 10 kg of C. I've done something like this. Clear? Is there a change in the mix? Yes. What was told, but what I have done is bit different. Will it affect my cost? Obvious. I will use A and B more where it is cost low. Clear? Whereas C less where it is cheap. So will it impact my cost? Yes. So will it lead to a variance? Yes. So due to the change in this mix, how much variance we are getting, we are calculating. Due to this change in the mix, how much variance we are getting, guys. Hope you guys understood. Yeah, and please be careful. This kind of calculation will come only when I am using more than one kind of raw material in the production process. Clear? Yes. Sir, standard was I was supposed to use like this. Clear? That is 5 is to 10 is to 15. But I have used it in a different proportion, sir. Different proportion. Will it affect my cost? Yes, because the price of each category is different. So it will have an impact. And how is it and how much is it? We are calculating. Clear? Yes. Material mix variance. This variance arises due to a change in the ratio of actual material mix from the standard ratio of material. Guys, what was the standard ratio in my example? 5 is to 10 is to 15. But what is the actual ratio used? 7 is to 12 is to 10. Is there a change in the ratio? Yes, sir. It only arises when two or more inputs are used to produce a product. Material mix variance, revised standard quantity minus actual quantity used into standard. Guys, here we are not taking only standard quantity. We are bringing something called a revised standard quantity. Sir, will it be given in the question? No. Should we calculate? Yes. How is it? Simple, guys. Take the total quantity used. Total quantity used. All three put together. Divide it in standard quantity ratio. Divide it in standard quantity ratio. So in my example, it will be like this. What is the total of actual quantity? I'm just doing per unit. Don't worry. Okay. 29. Divide this between A, B, C in what ratio? 5 is to 10 is to 15. So come on guys. What is revised standard quantity? It is a breakup of total actual quantity in standard quantity ratio. In standard quantity ratio. You may tell, sir, you would have simply taken standard quantity. No, no, no. Have you used the same? No. So take the total actual quantity and tell them you were supposed to use in what ratio. You were supposed to use this in what ratio. Minus you have used in what ratio. You have used in what ratio. Hope you guys are getting it. Now you may tell me, sir, take the same thing. No, no, because this might be different quantity here. How much? 15, 30. 39. Here only one difference, but normally from question to question it will vary. The difference will be increasing. So what do? You take the total actual quantity, divide it in standard quantity ratio. Tell this is how you are supposed to use. Minus how you are used. Into standard plus. Into standard. Is that clear? Guys, copy paste of usage variance. Instead of standard quantity, I cannot keep the same to same formula. Na? So instead of standard quantity, what will come now? Revised standard quantity. What is revised standard quantity, Mohan? Total of actual quantity divided in what ratio? Standard quantity ratio. Calculation wise, I have just given one example. We will do the problems. You will get a proper hold. First understand the formulas. Okay. Revised standard quantity. I have given one note here. You observe. Revised standard quantity is the breakup of total actual quantity in what ratio? Standard quantity ratio. Standard quantity ratio, guys. Let me again explain. Okay, one more example. Just for you. Standard quantity, guys. I am now writing in total. Standard quantity you are supposed to use 10,000 kgs. Let me name it as A, B, C. And 15,000 kgs. And 25,000 kgs. 50, 15. But actual is how much, sir? Actual quantity. Asking 12,000 Here we have this 16,000 and here we have this 28,000. Everything more. Everything more. Okay, maybe I have produced more. Who knows? Correct. Yes, sir. So 40, 56. 56,000 kgs. Now, guys, now if I compare both straight away, is it right? No. That we already done in mix. Sorry, that we have already done in usage. Clear? Yes, sir. That is standard quantity minus actual quantity. Now what I am doing is, what is this in this ratio? So calculate, guys. Standard, revised standard quantity, RSQ. RSQ. Let me change the color to green. So 56,000 into 10 by 50. Into 10 by 50. 11,200. Next, 56,000 into 15 by 50. 16,800. 28,000. Oh. Now what did I do, guys? How did I get it? I took total actual quantity, divided in 10 is to 15 is to 25 ratio. That is in standard ratio. Come on, guys. Whatever I have used, I was supposed to use in what ratio now? 11,200, 16,800, 28,000. I was supposed to use in this ratio. But I have used in what ratio? 12, 16, 28. Is there a difference? Yes, sir. That is what we are finding out in mix. Multiplied with standard price. Multiplied with standard price. Hope you guys got it. Actual quantity, standard quantity ratio. This is what you are supposed to use. Minus what you actually use. Into standard price. Into standard price. Clear? Oh, you can observe. I have also given it in the form of formula. Total of actual quantity of all types of material, all three put together you have to take. Divided by what? Total of standard quantities of all types of material into standard quantity of each material. If you are doing it for A, multiply with A. If you are doing it for B, multiply with B. If you are doing it for C, multiply with C. Hope you understood. This two will anyway be common. Numerator and denominator. Yeah. So in my example, it was, guys, 56,000 will remain same. Total is how much? 50. That will remain same. Yeah. So 56,000 divided by 50,000 into how much for A? 10,000. How much for B? Into 15,000. How much for C? Into 25,000. We will get what, guys? RSQ. That is revised standard quantity. Yes, sir. Just a minute. Let me read that note. Along with me, read it. Read it. Come on. Revised standard quantity is the breakup of total actual quantity in standard quantity ratio. In standard quantity ratio. And for sure it will not be given in the question. We need to find out. Okay. So before calculating the mix variance, we need to first find out RSQ and use that RSQ to calculate the material mix variance. Then coming to yield variance. Yield variance, we have two different alternate formula. Any one we can use. Variance in material consumption which arises due to yield or productivity of the inputs. Material yield variance is the difference between the standard yield specified and the actual yield obtained. Means how much I was supposed to get, how much I got. It may arise due to the use of what? Substandard quality of raw material or inefficiency of the workers. They couldn't handle it properly, or due to wrong processing. That is production process loss. Okay. Material yield variance. What is the formula, guys? We are just again interchanging the positions. Standard quantity minus revised standard quantity into standard price. Into standard price. Guys, here what is the base? Usage variance is the base. Clear? Come on, let us go back. Usage, where are you? Here. Clear? Now listen. Mix and yield is a subcategory of this. Yes, same to same. Guys, multiplier is copy paste, no change in that. Okay. Now for mix, what should you do? Instead of standard quantity, we have to take revised standard quantity minus actual quantity. Minus actual quantity. And for yield, remove actual quantity. take the standard quantity to other side. So what is it? Revise standard quantity. Correct? What is the formula for yield variance? Standard quantity minus revised standard quantity. Clear? Let standard be here. Bring revised in place of what? Actual. Clear? Only interchange of position. For mixer, you remove actual quantity. Sorry, you will remove standard quantity and bring revised standard quantity for mix. And for yield, you will remove actual quantity and in place of that, what you put? Revised standard quantity. Revised standard quantity. And the multiplier will be same standard price. The difference between the standard quantity specified for actual production and actual quantity in the standard proportion, that is at standard purchase price. Here. Next, we have one more alternate formula. I suggest you guys to go with this, but if by chance, if they are given the totals, okay, you can alternatively use this formula also. What is it, sir? Total standard quantity minus total actual quantity into average standard price. Guys, listen here. If you are using this formula, you can calculate for each of them A, B, C. Whereas if you are going with this, you can calculate overall only. You can calculate overall only. Simple. Total standard quantity, all three put together, minus total actual quantity, all three put together, into average standard price. Not standard price, average standard price. That is all three put together. On an average, what is the standard price? What is the standard price? Don't worry, all this we will do it in different kinds of questions. Okay, all kind of question, either from my question bank or even ICM material questions, everything we will discuss. One or the other places, we would have used all these formulas. Clear? Any doubt? Understood? Yes. Yes. And please be careful, guys. When they are given different kind of raw material, please show the calculation for each category separately and then show the total. Then show the total. And if you want to calculate the yield variance separately for each material, that is A, B, C, then use this formula only. No, sir, for all three put together, overall I will calculate. Then you can go with the second formula. Then you can go with the second formula, guys. Okay. Note, all positive material variances is known as what? Favorable variance. And all negative material variances is known as adverse or unfavorable. Adverse or unfavorable. Guys, please be careful with this calculation. Whenever you get the answer in your calculator negative, it is adverse. Whenever you get the number in positive, that means what? Favorable. Meaning of the terms used in the formula. SQ stands for what, guys? Standard quantity. Don't always call only standard quantity. Standard quantity for what? Actual output. That is to produce actual output. Actual quantity is what? AQ. Quantity of inputs actually used to produce actual output. Then RSQ stands for what? Revised standard quantity. If actual total quantity of inputs were used in standard proportion, how much it should be? How much it should be, guys? Clarification. If any information in the question relating to the standards are given for level other than actual output, then it should always be converted for what? Actual output first. Only then proceed further for calculation, guys. For example, standard quantity should always be for actual output. When we go into the labor variance calculation, there we have something called as hours. So standard hours should always be for what? Actual output. Guys, we are done with material. Now we are supposed to solve the questions. But before that, let us recall the formulas. Because you have to remember all of them. And in the exam, when they have asked you to calculate the variances, you have to first write the formula and then show the calculation. Don't straight away go for calculations. Come on. What is the first formula? Material cost variance. How do we calculate it? Standard material cost minus actual material cost. Sir, how do we get standard material cost? Standard quantity for actual output into standard price. How do we get actual cost of material? Actual quantity consumed or used into actual price. Now, what is the reason for it? Maybe due to price or usage. Now, when I am calculating material price variance, we are finding out the difference between what? Prices. Which two prices? Standard and actual. Which comes first? standard. What is the formula? Standard price minus actual price into actual quantity, actual quantity purchase logically. Clear? But for calculation, you have to use consumed. You have to use consumed, guys. That is only if they have given both. If they have given only one actual quantity, assume consumed is equal to purchased. Okay, so then coming to usage. What do we use? Quantity. Correct? Yes, quantity will be either in kgs or units, guys, not in price. Now, when we are talking about material usage variance, we are finding out the difference between the quantities. That means which two quantities? Standard and actual. Which comes first? Standard. What is the formula? Standard quantity for actual output minus actual quantity consumed or used into standard price. That is the price which I was supposed to pay. Now, usage also can be subdivided into two categories, that is mix and yield. This will come only when we are using more than one category of raw material in the production process. That is two or more. Two or more. Yes. What is the formula for calculating material mix variance? Usage. What is the formula for usage? Standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. Now, in place of standard quantity, we are bringing something called as revised standard quantity. Guys, come on. What is the formula? Revised standard quantity minus actual quantity consumed into standard price. Now, what is that new term called? Revised standard quantity. Actual quantity in standard quantity ratio. That to total of actual quantity in standard quantity ratio. Calculate that and accordingly to the mix variance. Then coming to yield variance. What is the formula? Now first again we'll recall usage. What is the formula? Standard minus actual into standard price. Now let standard be there. In place of actual, remove actual and bring revised standard quantity. So for yield variance, the formula is standard quantity for actual output minus revised standard quantity into standard price. Just interchange of position. Step. Clear? No, sir. I don't want to calculate individual yield. I want to calculate overall. Can I do? Yes. What is the formula? Total standard input. Input is nothing but quantity for actual output only minus total actual quantity into average standard price. Now you cannot take standard price. Why? You are doing it overall. If you take individually, you have three. As per my example, you will have for A and B, C. Which one will you take? Sir, A is the costliest, so we will take a. No. You have to take average. This is only when you are calculating overall guys, not individually material wise. Yes, sir. These are the calculations with respect to material variances. Now let us get into the problems. Not life problems, questions.